Hi everyone, it is March wrap-up part 2. I will link part 1 down below. March was a good reading month for the most part, I think. I read some really great books in it. I also had a lot of fun, which is kind of the whole point. We ended up getting to see Moana for the first time, which was really a great, Lin-Manuel Miranda is really pretty awesome when it comes to lyrics. And my toddler is now obsessed with singing Away, Away at the top of her lungs and really enjoying Moana, so that's fun. We also got to go to a gaming convention over the weekend, which is really cool because, yeah, it's fun watching my kids get into the gamer culture and not being intimidated by harder games. So that was neat. Got to have my godson. But yeah, it was a good reading month. I'm looking forward to April because it's springtime and it means we're almost through the rough parts of the year up until we can get up to summer. So anyway, this is what I read the rest part of March. First up is Brave New World, and I'm not going to say too much about this because I am planning on doing my parallel video between this and 1984. It was not how I remembered it, and I think part of that is just because I have changed as a grown-up. Last time I read this, I was in high school. I'm now a parent, and some of the scenes with the younger kids and the exploration of certain things was a little bit jarring for me as a mom, as opposed to being a hormonally charged teenager. So yeah, I don't know, Brave New World. I used to think that I preferred this to 1984, but I might actually have switched it. So there's that happened. Next up is Shrill, which I am halfway through. Notes from a Loud Woman by Lindy West. And this, while if you have problems with language, this is probably not the book for you. I am really enjoying it. The essays on feminist issues, as well as how you are treated as a woman versus as a man, trying to fit into all the different molds of what it means to be a woman. It has made me laugh and read out loud several times, which is always the good mark of a good book, I think, is just when I have to stop a million times to read half chapters aloud to my husband, who humors me as I do it. So I'm just really enjoying this. I'll probably end up doing a longer video on it when I'm all done with it. This next one, I actually DNF'd about 2/3 of the way through. If you don't know what DNF means, I did not finish it. The Other Einstein by Benedict. I had high hopes for this. I like the cover, which is always nice. And it's about the first wife of Albert Einstein. So it's historical fiction. She's a real person, and some of the details in the book I fact-checked, and that checks out. The premise behind this is she was a mathematical genius that might have even eclipsed Albert Einstein, as opposed to her. What I had a hard time with was I felt like there's a lot of potential to talk about the layering and complexity of a woman in her time period who was struggling between career and family life. I think Benedict was so close on certain things, kind of laying it out, and then just didn't take the opportunity to run with it and explore it further, which bugged me because I think it could have been really phenomenal. I also had a hard time with, it felt more like kind of YA as far as everything was laid out nice and neat. There was no speculation. It didn't feel like there were more complexity to some of the issues that I think could have been there. It was an interesting premise. It made me want to look into what Einstein's home life was and what was true and what wasn't. But I had higher hopes. If you've read that one and finished it, let me know in the comments if you think I should keep going, because I haven't returned it yet, obviously, but yeah. This next one was phenomenal, and it was Room by Emma Donoghue. This has also been made into a movie, so if you haven't seen this, it's a really excellent fictional novel it's told from a boy's perspective, age 5, and he was born and raised up until age 5 in this one room. His mom was abducted and then impregnated by her captor, and then ended up keeping him there with her. And what I really took away from this is her resourcefulness and creativity as a parent. Really inspired me to up my game. Obviously, she had very limited resources in a room where she couldn't access anything, and she had to rely on kindly asking her captor to acquire things for her. So it was hard to read as a parent, like knowing that's what's going on. But you're hearing it from this innocent 5-year-old's perspective. So you're not necessarily getting the grit of what all is going on, even though you can make some assumptions. It does follow them after they leave the room and how they make their transition into real life and what that could have been like. This book also made me remember not to judge someone who you've not walked in their shoes. A book Olive just released a drunk book review of a book called Cannibalism. And she said a lot of people really balk at cannibalism and say things like, oh, I could never do such a thing. And obviously, no, nobody wants to do something like that. At least not in our culture that we were brought up in. But we never know what we're going to do in the situation until we're placed there. And I think this book kind of did the same thing for me. It made me wonder what I would have been like, how would I have risen to the challenge, or it also covers some of the depression, and you can definitely see that the woman has some down days where she just can't function because she's trying to cope in this awful, awful situation. So anyway, totally worth the hype. Definitely pick it up. I look forward to seeing the movie. Yeah, Room. Very good. Next up, I have not finished yet. Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. I just finished, or started it last night. So I guess it's going into April, but that's okay. Obviously, most people know who Agatha Christie is. According to the back, next to the Bible and Shakespeare, she is the most widely spread author on the planet, which I think is incredible. Like, go girl. That's awesome. But Murder on the Orient Express, I heard rumors of it becoming a movie, and I wanted to check it out. So I used to read tons of mysteries when I was younger, and I just, as an adult, haven't. And so I'm kind of trying to find out if that's something that is missing in my life. Agatha Christie, while I like her, she doesn't compel me to have to read through the whole catalog of her. And so if you have any great recommendations for mystery writers or good books that are mysteries, put them in the comments below. I would love to see what you guys would recommend for me, because I mean, I like her, but it's just not, I'm not going to go through her back catalog. I don't care that much. It's clever, but it's not compelling for me. I totally understand if you love Agatha Christie. It's just, I'm looking for something else, I guess. This last one, again, I finished this one yesterday, and I'm going to do a separate review of this because it was just phenomenal. And it's Florence Gordon by Bryan Morton. This book blew me away. And again, I will do a separate review of this because there was a lot to talk about in here. Florence Gordon is a 80-something-year-old feminist icon. I'm pretty sure this is fictional, but there's so many references to feminist works, other people in that arena. She reminds me of my grandma, because she's just a very strong, says what she thinks, no holds barred. She's a little bit more cruel than you would like her to be sometimes, but she makes for a very fun character to read. But what I liked about this book, it's told from so many perspectives. I saw different people in all the characters. I saw boyfriends that I didn't like, and saw, her granddaughter trying to deal with. I saw, there's so many different things. Anyway, it's going to be a longer video. Florence Gordon, and it's not even that long. It took me 2 days. It was great. I really loved it. So yes, I'm pretty sure I gave this one 5 stars. And I think is going to be one of my favorite books of the year. So that is what I read the last part of March. I also read Wind in the Willows with my kids because it was springtime and it was the right time to do that. So I would love to know from you what you are planning on reading coming up. Have you read any of these before? Do you have recommendations for me to delve into mystery as a grown-up? And yeah, What were your favorite things you read in March? I would love to know. Put that in the comments. I will talk to you later. Bye.